Hello, it is Dr. Chris Raquel, and I am back again with a video for today. I hope you all are doing amazingly. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested in my content. You can also send me an email at askkrystalracquel@gmail.com if you have any questions that you'd like to see me address on video for you. For those of you who have been with me, you see the content that I do. I do content related to our walk with God, things that are happening in life. I do some reviews. I also relate things back to relationships. I know a lot of you join me for that. I also have done content specific to hauls and things of that nature. So stick around and you will get to see more and more of me. Today's topic was requested. It is specific to being a third wheel in a relationship and how it's never a good thing to be a side chick in a relationship. So what we know about side chickism is being a side chick is pretty much somebody has a relationship and usually you're aware of that person being in a relationship, but you decide to insert yourself into that relationship. So what the person said when they were writing in about the topic that they wanted me to discuss, it was in regards to someone who was in a relationship, or I think it was a marriage, and they believed that they would have wanted to work on their relationship, but there was someone who inserted himself into the relationship. So a lot of times ladies are wanting to be married, they want to have a relationship, but if you see someone, it doesn't matter if they're separated, if they're saying that they're going to go through a separation, if they are still with that person, still married, you need to stay out of that situation. If that man or woman is living with their spouse, if that man or woman is hoping potentially to work it out, you don't want to be someone like Alicia Keys. You don't want to be someone who sees someone in a relationship and you might think that they're nice, you might think that they're beautiful, you might think that they're handsome, and they may be going through struggles in their marriage or in their long-term relationship, and you think to yourself, well, they're going through problems. This is my chance to join that relationship or for me to get that other person out. So what the person wrote in about, they explained that, as I mentioned, there was a marriage and they thought that their relationship could have been worked on, but because this other person inserted themselves, unbeknownst to them, the relationship didn't work out because the man no longer wanted to work out his relationship. It was something like that in what the person wrote. So basically, it's never going to work for that person. The person who inserts themselves into the relationship, one, it's going to end up happening to you. The same thing. The person is probably never going to commit or marry you, and you would have been better off trying to find your own person instead of trying to snatch someone away from someone else. And you might say, well, if that lady went and ended up being with another man, or that man ended up being with another lady, that was their choice. That is 100% true. However, you are helping that person do those things, do the wrong thing. So there may be a point in time where, nobody's perfect. There may be a point in time where someone might be weaker in their walk with God or their moral compass. And if someone comes in as a temptation, not saying it's right, it's never right, because it's those two individuals that committed to one another, that said that they wanted to be together forever, for the long haul, for marriage or for a long-term relationship. And that is their responsibility to uphold. However, if someone comes in intentionally as a temptation, they're 100% wrong for that. And yes, we put the blame on the people who are in the relationship, but if you're coming in, it's not like you're off the hook. You 100% are going to be dealt with. And by dealt with, meaning it can be a wide range of things. If the person who's in the relationship finds out, you can end up getting hurt or losing your vida, your life. Or it could just be you end up being with that person and it ends up being worse for you than it was for the other man or the other woman. So you have to be careful. Like I said, you might not end up ever getting married, or you might have stopped the opportunity to meet someone else, or it's just not going to end well for you, or it might end up happening to you. It might not even, so even if something bad happens to you and maybe you do end up living happily ever after, it might even happen to one of your kids in the future, because, no bad deed goes unpunished, and you certainly reap what you sow. And if you don't believe in the scripture aspect, just kind of like what we talk about in terms of our day and age, karma, right? What goes around comes around. It's a fact. It usually happens that way. So what you want to do, you want to make sure that you are healthy, whole, and fully healed, because when you're healthy and healed, you know your worth. You know that you're not going to disrespect yourself to say, hey, this man or woman is living with their spouse or living with someone in a relationship or even living with their ex, and you're not going to think that that's a good idea to get involved with. You're going to say to yourself, not a good look. That person is completely unavailable. Let me go find someone else. And I'm not saying, okay, well, maybe I can tell the person, what about if I tell them, well, I know you're with somebody now, but maybe if you were single? No, you can't even say that. You can't say something like, oh, well, if you decide to break up with that person, if you decide to divorce them, then I'll be here, because that is still doing the same thing. You're telling the person that, just because of my moral compass, I'm not going to be with you now, but all you have to do is divorce or leave the relationship and I will be with you. That gives the person, the man or the woman, a way out. They know that you're still there, you're still waiting for them, and that you are going to be fully available for them when they need you. So you don't want to be a side chick. You don't want to be somebody that's low quality, that's low character. You want to be healed so that you're going to be attracting the best person for you, because if somebody's going to be with you, if somebody's going to cheat with you, they will certainly cheat on you. And you might say, well, it's not necessarily cheating, because in the scenario that I just mentioned, they were separated, or they were going to be separated, or they were going to get a divorce. No, you don't know what could have happened had that person not introduced themselves. And one thing that we know, there's a difference between men and women. We see that women sometimes, if a relationship or marriage doesn't work out, they'll end the relationship and then they'll start searching for someone else. I find that men are a little bit different. A lot of times, not all, sometimes men will only leave a relationship when they know they have someone else, or they know that there's somebody else waiting out on the end for them, waiting for the tail end of the relationship to end. That's when they know that they can fully leave. So you don't want to be somebody who is that man's next woman because you're already there, you're already available for him. Do the right thing. You think that you being a side chick, you think that you breaking up a relationship is going to help you? Absolutely not. And if you see somebody, like, think about it, someone might even have children, right? Let's say it's a couple, they have children, and you think, well, he really wants me. And because you end up inserting yourself into a relationship, a lot of times women want to keep their families together. So you end up getting with him. You don't have any kids with him. This other lady has children with him. You don't know. Like, in the future, he might try to still get back with her and say, I want my family back. And then he's going to end up cheating on you. So be very careful. You want to do things on the up and up. You do not want to come to a place where you're lowering yourself so low to the fact where you're sneaking around with someone, or like enticing that man, or it can be a woman too, but it's usually women that do this, because there aren't that many, I guess not good men, but there aren't that many quality men. So a lot of times what ladies will do is they will think, well, that lady's not doing something right. She's not keeping him happy. So of course he wants me.